Hi, I'm Jonathan Oxer and this is Walktime blog number 22, Building a Glass Whiteboard. Now I'm still setting up my little home office slash workshop slash lab slash Batcave, whatever it is, and one thing of course that we have to have is a whiteboard. My plan always had been that this particular bit of wall here, looks kind of boring right now, it's just a big blank area, would have a whiteboard on it. And what I intend to do is use a piece of glass, paint the back of it white and attach it to the wall. Now that had just been a general plan and I hadn't got around to doing anything about it, but last weekend I was helping a friend clean out a factory, and one of the things that was going on the hard rubbish pile was this big sheet of glass here, which used to be a tabletop for a coffee table or something like that, which means it's toughened glass, which is important because if we're going to hang a big sheet of glass on the wall, imagine someone runs into it or bashes it by mistake and it breaks and big bits of glass end up falling on your head. Not very nice at all. So we have to keep safety in mind even with something as simple as making a whiteboard. It's also got nice ground edges. They're all rounded, there's no sharp edges, so you can't cut yourself on it. It's all nice and smooth. So it does have a couple of scratches in it, which is not very good because they may show up and look very dodgy, but it didn't cost anything, so I'm going to give it a go. Now to mount this on the wall, I'm going to need to drill some holes in the corner of the glass. Now the thing is, drilling holes in glass is really difficult, but there is a way to do it. First thing you need is one of these. Well, there are a couple of different ways to do it. This is the way I'm going to do it. This is a diamond tipped glass drill. You can see that it's a little tube and it's got little chips of diamond on it, so it abrades its way through the glass. We're also going to need some tape and a pencil so I can mark the spot the hole needs to go. And this is the little trick. I've got a ring of blue tack, so what I'm going to do is put that around the location of the hole and then fill it with water so that while it's being drilled we'll actually be drilling straight through water. So let's set it up. I'm going to put the hole about 40 millimeters in from the corner. So the first thing I need to do is figure out where it's going to go. So around about there, approximately. So once I've got the basic spot, put a bit of tape down, and then I can draw the location directly on the tape. To make it be the intersection of 40 mil that way and 40 mil that way. So that's where the hole needs to go. Then I stick the little blue tack ring down around it and fill it with water. So we've now got a little puddle, and then we can drill straight down through that puddle. Now one of the things is that when you're drilling with a conical bit like this, it tends to move around a bit when you're getting it started. So the recommended way to start them is to brace the drill. And the other thing to keep in mind is don't be enthusiastic about it. Don't run it too fast and don't apply pressure. You have to be really patient and just let it work its way through slowly. So the recommended way to start it is to brace the drill and start it at about a 45-degree angle so that it works from one edge and it starts to grind its way in and set a little notch into the surface of the glass. And then you can progressively adjust it and bring it up over the top so that it's straight on, and then let it go down through it. So I'll just get this started. Not too fast, I've got to be careful on the trigger. It's an adjustable trigger drill. Oh, skipped a little bit there. I'll give it another go. But it's already got a little notch in there, so I've got something that I can use as a brace, as a starting point. And you can see the water starting to get a little bit cloudy there. That's because it's grinding its way through the glass, and the little white powder is actually bits of glass that have been abraded away. So we've now got the start of a hole, and I can work my way down through that. It'll take a while though, so I won't bore you by making you watch it all. And there we go, we've broken through. Water's dripping out from underneath because now we have a hole. And it took quite a few minutes to get through just 6 millimeters or whatever it was of glass, because as I said, you have to be very careful, take your time, don't rush it. if you rush it, you can chip off bits of glass, you can break the glass, and the whole job is wasted. But now we have quite a neat hole, and it doesn't have sharp edges or anything because of the way it was ground by that particular bit. So that should be a good way to mount it to the wall. My intention is to use little plastic tubes as standoffs, so that this actually hangs away from the wall probably by about 15 millimeters or so, not hard up against it. So now that I have holes drilled in each of the corners and I've given it a really good clean, it's ready to paint. So I'm just going to use some regular water-based paint, like a low sheen. Now the thing is that because this particular piece of glass was previously used as a coffee table, the top surface of it is quite scratched, and the underside of course is nice and smooth. The problem is that if I put the scratch side on the front, when I draw on it with whiteboard markers and things like that, the ink will end up stuck in the grooves and it will be really hard to get out, so I'll end up with coloured marks and things all over the front of it. So what I'm going to do is paint the scratch side, which was the old top side of the glass, and I've had a pretty good go at cleaning it, so hopefully it's fairly clean, and I don't know how visible the scratches will be, but we'll give it a go and see what happens. And there we go. Now there are 2 coats of paint on it, and it's still drying. I think it's still a little bit wet on the second coat, but it's actually looking pretty cool. Look at it from the other side. It's got light coming through from the sky at the moment, so it's not really representative of how it will look, but it should look pretty good once we stand it up. So now it's time for me to sort out the mounts for it. Alright, so now we need to mount it on the wall. The sheet of glass is actually pretty heavy. I'll have a look down here. So this is it from the front, and you can see that it actually looks really cool. So I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. But what we need to do is mount it on the wall through those 4 holes on the corners. And the sheet of glass itself weighs 16 kilos, so it's pretty heavy. And I've found a stud in the wall. It goes up through that point there. And luckily it's right near where I need one of the screws. So I've got mounts here for screws for the left side. Unfortunately, the right hand side, there's no stud. So what I've had to do is use some plaster screws, which are big plastic screws that go into the plaster and provide a mechanical support, and then you can put a normal screw into the hole in the center of it. Now these plaster screws are rated to 10 kilos each, and we've got 4 mount points. The whole thing weighs 16 kilos. So I don't really like the idea of using the plaster screws. It'd be better if we could go into a stud, but well, we just got to do what we can with what we've got. So let's give it a go. Yay, we finally got it up. It's stuck up on the wall. Still needs a little bit of a clean. It's got some marks and things on it, but it's looking pretty good. So I want to try it out, but I need whiteboard markers. Time to head off to Officeworks and get some. Yes! Okay, let's give it a try. Well, we've done Hello World on the whiteboard, so it compiles. It works. Good enough, let's ship it.